Mario Isola from Pirelli, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We have this beautiful car just behind us, fitted with the new tires. Thank you very much for bringing back the white tires to Formula One. They look amazing.
Yeah. The look and feel of the new cars is incredible. I think that together with the new wing and all the new design, they will be very, very aggressive. That is very good.
What can you tell us from the development of the new tires? What was your biggest challenge?
I would say that we had to redesign a tire completely, like what we did in 2011 when we started, because it's not only the size of the tire, but also the target. Now we are requested to design tires with less degradation, no overheating. It's a complete different approach. So we had to redesign all the 5 compounds, the construction, the wet product, because now that is wider. Also, you have a different aquaplaning resistance, so bigger grooves, better ability of the tire to expel water, different intermediate. So 7 products in 6 months. It's a big challenge. Yes.
You mentioned the targets. One target was less degradation.
Yes.
The drivers, of course, always want less degradation. They want to go flat out the entire race, of course, which is not possible all the time. But
and more grip.
Of course, more grip. But this target of less degradation, how good do you think the new tires are in that respect?
When we tested with the mule cars, we saw less degradation. So comparing the new family of compounds with the compounds that you know from last year, the difference was quite big. There is a big step. What is the question mark? Is that the 2017 cars will be quicker than the mule cars, so more energy will go into the tire, and of course this means that maybe the numbers that we have will be a bit different. So we have to understand that this. Also the overheating and the ability to come back to a good level of grip when you are in free air is something that we experience clearly in our test. So that during the test, the drivers were pushing a lot on the tire, more than trying to create sliding and overheating.
Yeah, just when you're following another car in dirty air.
Yeah, similar to that, because obviously we didn't have another car, so we were not able to replicate that. But they were pushing on the tire, trying to push the tire outside the window and to understand how quick the tire is able to come back. And they came back us with good feedback, saying, well, after 2 corners, the tire the level of grip was like at the beginning. So it was a good result, and now we have to confirm all this on track.
So no excuses more for drivers who push just 1 lap when they came out of the pit behind another car and then stop pushing and say, oh, the tire didn't come back, the tire was... So no excuses more.
You know, the race is made by a lot of different elements. It's not just the tire. On the car you have to save fuel, you have to respect the brakes, you have to consider the hybrid powertrain. So a bit of pace management is always present in the race. They ask us and they want tires with less degradation because they want to push more, and we work in this direction.
In average, how many pit stops do you expect?
Less, because with less degradation, of course, you don't have any incentive to change the tire. If in the past we had 2 or 3, we probably go back to 1 or 2.
How happy were you with the data the teams gave to you from the simulations they had?
Now the process is very good. The flow that was agreed is very good. The quality of the data, I think, is good because they have a lot of simulation tools. We also work a lot with them on simulators. So we give them our tire model, and they give us they put our tire model in their simulators with the 2017 car, and we work together with them to understand how the package works. Of course, if we talk about the expected performance at the beginning of the season, they probably have good information. end of the season, considering that is a complete new regulation, so the rate of development this year will be huge, is a bit more difficult to understand, to predict.
For the first few races, you have a backup construction for the tires.
Compounds.
So, compounds you use when the compound you choose for the races is not working. What can you tell us about this? How different are they? When did you test them? Do the teams have the chance to test them during testing days, or?
Yes, they can choose everything. So we decided to homologate 10 compounds, 5 that we call 5 with the same level than last year, so hard, medium soft, super soft, ultra soft, that we call base compounds, and 5 that we call backup compounds. Which is the difference? We decided to introduce the base compounds that are really a complete new philosophy of compounds, new ingredients, is a new concept. This concept gave much less degradation, less overheating. They are probably a bit more difficult to warm up, and we based our choice on the performance that we can see from the simulations. If for any reason, when we start the season, the cars are not performing as expected, in that case we have the possibility to use the backup compounds that are let's say more similar to the compounds we had last year. This is the only difference. So this is why we decided to homologate a double range of compounds. We don't have in our plans at the moment to use the backup compounds. The plan is to do all the season, to run all the season with the base compounds.
Okay. So I presume that the teams already gave you the list with tires they want to have for the winter test.
Yes.
Are there some teams ordered the backup compound for the test?
Yes. Most of them decided to have a few sets of the backup compounds because they need to understand how they works, but they are more focused on the base compounds.
Okay. I have to ask you a question on last week. There was a test with Sebastian Vettel in the car, and something happened there. What can you tell us about that?
No, it was a normal accident during a test. It could happen in free practice, during the race, or during a test. Nothing strange. Just the problem was that crashing against the wall, the car was damaged, and unfortunately we were not in a position to continue the test. Just this, but
can you say
you can have an engine failure and you are obliged to stop the test as well.
But can you tell us the reason for the crash? Was it aquaplaning, or was it just too much torque at the moment? Or
we are investigating the reason. It was a loss of grip. He lost the car and he crashed. Probably, I don't know if it is aquaplaning or wheel spin or loss of grip. Honestly, this is something that we are investigating.
Okay, and but usually working with Sebastian Vettel is quite intense, I guess, from the tire man perspective, because he's so demanding. He always wants to push you in the direction he likes with the tires.
He is a top driver. He is a 4 times world champion. His ability as a driver is not under discussion. So we are very happy to test with him because he's giving us a lot of feedback, useful feedback. And he is demanding. Yes, he is. But it is better to have a driver that is demanding rather than a driver that maybe is not putting any attention in this. So it is true that when he finds something that he likes, he shows you that he likes this tire, but it's also the same for other drivers.
So thank you very much, Mario, but I can't let you go without making a prediction for the top 3 in Constructors' Championship this season.
It's a difficult question because everybody would say for sure Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull. I think we will have some outsider, McLaren, maybe Renault. It could be an interesting championship this year if the other teams are able to close the gap with Mercedes, and I hope it is going to happen. Not against Mercedes, trust me. It's
for Formula 1.
For Formula 1, for the show.
Your top 3?
Drivers?
No, constructors. You have to nail it now.
That is so difficult. I really have no idea. Not because I don't want to tell you, but I don't have an idea. They are probably so close, and it's difficult to understand who was the best in understanding the new regulation, because nobody saw the cars. We tried, but we were not allowed to see the car, so it's very difficult. It's almost impossible.
Okay, thank you very much, Mario.
Thank you.
Mille grazie.
Thank you.